If you have received this message today, chosen one, listen carefully. You are no longer the person you were yesterday. Something deep inside is breaking down, being restructured and dissolving. This process is not random chance. Starting December 11th, Mercury initiates a powerful shift, a major cosmic realignment intended to extract you from your previous identity and open a pathway to a heightened, awakened, and improved version of yourself. This transition will not be gentle. It begins as a soft, prompting, quickly intensifying into a loud declaration. You may experience emotional volatility, detachment, agitation, a powerful awakening, or a strange sense of quietude. Stay until the conclusion, for the metamorphosis beginning now is more impactful than you realize. Your former self is receding. Your future destiny is ascending, and the universe is preparing you for something extraordinary. Let us examine the December 11 Mercury shift and its role in sparking a spiritual awakening. When December 11th arrives, Mercury does more than transit into a new sign. It fundamentally alters the energetic landscape enveloping your essence. We are not dealing with a routine planetary movement, but an energetic breaking point, a time when the universe actively engages with you, fine-tuning the vibration of your consciousness, spirit, and core sense of self. Those selected will perceive this day with heightened sensitivity. It exerts pressure on your core emotions, activates your intuitive faculty, and guides you toward the fully realized potential you have yet to embody. You may sense that you are currently suspended between two distinct states, the individual you used to be and the glorious version you are currently evolving into. This alignment acts as a profound spiritual activation. It ignites elements of your awareness that have lain dormant for months, possibly years. Suddenly, your thought processes become clearer, your sensory perceptions intensify, your scope of awareness broadens dramatically. Matters you previously chose to overlook now demand your immediate attention. Environments you once endured now seem restrictive. Dialogues you participated in no longer resonate with the higher frequency you are ascending to. Today, you might observe your surroundings and feel a subtle displacement. But this sensation is positive. It's the universe strategically reordering the backdrop of your existence. Hues appear more vibrant. Quiet moments possess greater depth. Even the synchronization of events seems orchestrated. This is Mercury, updating the foundational design of your fate, preparing your spirit for a deep regeneration. The chosen ones are the initial receptors of this transformation, as their energetic signature already aligns with elevated dimensions. You possess a sensitivity to subtle cosmic forces, intuitive shifts, and underlying energetic currents. You perceive the internal disruption long before the external world witnesses the outcome. For this reason, December 11th feels like the convergence of constraint and liberation. The constraint arises from the shedding process, while the liberation stems from the person you are becoming. Recently, you might have experienced an inexplicable exhaustion, unrelated to physical activity, an unexpected surge of emotion without an apparent cause, a strong inclination towards introspection, silence, or isolation, an urge to withdraw from common distractions, or the quiet prompting of your intuition becoming amplified. These are not merely mood fluctuations, they are indicators of spiritual readjustment. They confirm that Mercury is actively dismantling the framework of your former self. You might find yourself unable to relate to your previous self. The version that accepted unfavorable conditions, suppressed their voice, or settled due to a lack of self-worth recognition. That former iteration is dissolving not because of failure, but because a superior reality is manifesting. With the activation of this Mercury transition, your internal landscape becomes the central stage for change. Emotional surges may surface unexpectedly, but grasp this distinction clearly. You are not fracturing. You are letting go. You are not disoriented. You are realigning your system. You are not losing grip. You are securing your balance. Deep-seated anxieties begin to lose power. Past hurts start fading away. Previous identities feel like apparel you have surpassed. The cosmos is creating room within you for heightened self-assurance, clear understanding, and renewed direction. You might suddenly revisit historical events with a fresh perspective. You may experience appreciation for past pain. You might even feel disconnected from individuals or settings that once shaped your reality. This is Mercury, revealing what is no longer intended to accompany you into the unfolding chapter. Envision December 11th as the moment of revelation. The mist evaporates, and the blueprint of your life shifts its configuration instantly. You begin to grasp the rationale behind dissolved relationships, postponed opportunities, the doors that shut before you were prepared, and the continuous guidance of your inner voice pushing you toward novelty. Every element you surrendered was deliberately preparing the stage for all that you are now prepared to embrace. This Mercury transition functions as a spiritual illumination, highlighting your next stage of evolution. It spotlights what resonates with your soul and reveals anything that is out of tune. For the chosen, this energetic change is a cosmic pronouncement. Your initiation is complete. It is time for elevation. The repetitive patterns in your life, the emotional cycles, uncertainty, tiredness, and spiritual stagnation cannot persist at this new vibrational level. You are undergoing refinement, not retribution. Consequently, life will cease to feel familiar from this point forward. December 11th signifies the commencement of a deep internal shift, a moment of spiritual pivot where mental clarity improves courage, solidifies in the heart, and the soul advances with unwavering intention. Your former identity is relinquishing its power. The emerging self is drawing its first breath, and the cosmos will oversee every forthcoming move. Indicators. Your previous iteration is fading as your future self surfaces. The moment Mercury initiates its movement on the 11th, the change transcends cognitive function. It modifies your soul's very oscillation. This is why the overhaul of your former identity doesn't occur dramatically. It arrives gently, softly, yet profoundly similar to an undeniable realization emerging, showcasing the future you while clarifying what you are moving beyond. Your former self does not vanish instantaneously. It unwinds gradually through successive layers, via sudden breakthroughs, emotional discharges, crystal clear moments, and energetic adjustments that are intensely felt. If you have been detecting this deep internal movement, the universe is confirming your preparation for this renaissance. Below are the spiritual confirmations that your past identity is receding and your new self is coming to life. 1. A lack of connection to former defining traits. You notice that specific routines, familiar places, personal habits, or even certain relationships that once provided solace now seem oppressive, energy depleting, or passé. This isn't a decline in engagement, but rather an energetic surpassing of the vibration you once occupied. You lose the inclination for shallow dialogue connections that impede your progress or positions that restrict your capabilities. Your spirit detects incongruity long before your intellect registers it. 2. Prioritizing inner knowing over rational thought. The Mercury transition continually refines your internal guidance system. You start intuiting the reality of circumstances before concrete proof emerges. You perceive hidden motivations in others' speech, discern the energetic quality of potential ventures, and recognize the path you are being drawn toward. Although your analytical brain continues to pose doubts, your spiritual instinct communicates with clear, resolute assurance. Your elevated consciousness is assuming command. You cease basing life decisions on anxiety, relying instead on innate certainty. 3. A tranquil void where emotions once dominated. You could perceive an unusual quietness within your emotional landscape, not apathy nor depression, but a profound, settled stillness. This marks a profound energetic cleansing. Your internal structure is discharging obsolete emotional baggage, old bonds, and recollections that hinder your future progression. This absence is actually opportunity, the room for authentic self-expression, the room for clear insight, and room for your emerging self to take root. The cosmic process consistently creates a vacuum before delivering elevation. 4 shifts in sleep patterns, intense dreaming, or midnight vitality. Your deep subconscious is undergoing reorganization. Your nocturnal experiences become intensely heightened. Sleep may feel less heavy, or you might awaken during the mystical hours of 2 to 5 a.m., when the division between worlds is minimal. You may envision unfamiliar locations, encounter strangers, or see powerful symbolic messages offering direction. These are deliberate transmissions, not accidents. They represent communication from the altered life trajectory you are beginning. 5. An unshakable conviction that a significant event is imminent. Despite lacking objective proof, the certainty resides within you. Your intuition and soul confirm it. You can discern the nearing of a pivotal moment, a transformative change, a major success, or a new opening. This internal expectancy is not nervousness. It is synchronization. It serves as the energetic announcement that your journey is about to accelerate. You are not deceiving yourself. Your future destiny is already summoning you. 6. Scrutinizing the choices of your previous self. You spontaneously gain perspective on your former identity, viewing it objectively. You ask, why did I permit that conduct? Why was I hesitant to prioritize my needs? Why did I compromise when my spirit longed for expansion? Why did I ignore my inner wisdom for such a duration? This interrogation is not critical introspection. It is realization. You are becoming aware of the distance between your former state and your intended potential. For the chosen, the dismantling of identity precedes its restoration. You are not undergoing self-loss. You are engaging in profound self-discovery. 7. An intense gravitation toward elevation. The specific direction or outcome might be unclear, yet an inner voice persists, urging, continue moving, do not halt, greater things await. This attraction represents your future self, drawing you onward, leading you to an existence unknown to your current self, yet familiar to your soul. You are actively entering your designated purpose, regardless of whether its manifestation is yet visible. 8. Inner serenity amidst external upheaval. This stands as a potent indicator. Even when external circumstances are volatile, an internal sense of stability, security, and rootedness prevails. You exhibit confidence in the ambiguity rather than apprehension. This tranquility is a byproduct of spiritual synchronization. It results from releasing the past and embracing what is emergent. You intuitively know that whatever is collapsing is supposed to collapse, and whatever is ascending is meant to ascend. Your former self is not dissolving due to error. It is dissolving because you have transcended its limitations. The essential truth the cosmos wishes to impart your ongoing evolution is not accidental. Your feelings are not malfunctions. Your sense of distance is not incorrect. Your lack of certainty is not defeat. This is genuine spiritual renewal. The previous identity, which fostered self-diminishment, hesitation, and avoidance of your true strength, cannot survive the vibrational level you are currently entering. On December 11th, the universe confirms an undeniable spiritual reality. You are fundamentally changed. A revitalized self is coming forth. Allow the past to recede. When this elevated version of you takes its place, the narrative of your life will be irreversibly altered. Once the former vibration dissipates and the residual energy stabilizes, a remarkable entity emerges within you. This goes beyond a minor tweak in personality or a fleeting emotional episode. This is a complete regeneration of identity, revealing a wiser, more illuminated self. This emerging identity is not defined by pain, sorrow, or fear. It is built upon your innate knowledge, your endurance, and the essential truth you are always destined to manifest. The Mercury shift on December 11th activates the aspect of you that was previously masked by protective mechanisms, outdated convictions, and historical self-perceptions. Below is a description of the elevated self. As this cosmic change reaches its peak, decisions are executed swiftly and without hesitation. Your former self subjected every action to scrutiny, second-guessed internal promptings, and delayed choices due to anxiety or concern for external judgment. Conversely, this new identity operates from total self-trust. Mercury eliminates mental obscurity, calibrating your internal navigational system to an unprecedented degree. You swiftly recognize that your initial instinct represents your truth and proceed with fluency. Choices that once felt paralyzing now feel straightforward, self-evident, and balanced. This is your intuition, dominating your fears, and you finally perceive it clearly. 2. You cease justifying your actions to those who fail to grasp them. The revitalized you prioritizes internal balance over external approval, investing time over seeking validation, and choosing serenity over lengthy explanations. You no longer feel compelled to clarify the reasons behind your transformations, your releases, or your choice of new directions. You simply advance discreetly, elegantly, and purposefully. This marks one of the clearest indications of rebirth. You stop soliciting permission to exist authentically. You begin proceeding with an assurance that requires no external affirmation. 3. Establishing limits becomes easy and free of remorse. For the older self, boundaries represented danger. You feared disappointing others, avoided conflict, or believed that asserting limits made you difficult. However, as the Mercury transition anchors your new identity, you refuse to compromise your own well-being to maintain others' comfort. You define boundaries with precision, devoid of resentment. You protect your energy without apologizing. You finally grasp that safeguarding your peace is an act of profound self-reverence, not egotism. This demonstrates spiritual maturation, the moment you choose your soul's needs over habitual patterns. 4. Your aspirations for the future gain both clarity and magnitude. Prior to this shift, your ambitions may have been constrained by apprehension, historical limitations, or self-doubt. Yet the emerging self envisions possibilities far exceeding past experience. Your outlook broadens, potential increases, your conviction in your destiny expands. You no longer conceptualize dreams from the perspective of prior suffering, but from the height of your true capacity. Suddenly, goals that once seemed unreachable draw your focus. You perceive opportunities where you once saw obstacles. The future ceases to be daunting. It becomes stimulating. 5. Emotional lightness prevails. Forgiveness comes naturally. The new identity is not burdened by dated narratives, previous betrayals, or lingering sorrow. You recognize that clinging to emotional weight only impedes your development. You offer forgiveness without reigniting old pain. You move on without sacrificing your core self. This emotional freedom is not naivete, it is power. It stems from understanding that every hardship provided a lesson, and every termination guided you toward this current self. You navigate the world with increased grace, patience, and empathy for others and for yourself. 6. Your energy draws in rather than pursuing. This represents one of the strongest indications of spiritual synchronicity. You stop attempting to secure affection, opportunities, validation, or relationships. Your inherent vibration becomes magnetic because it is grounded in inner veracity, self-worth, and certainty. That which is intended for you begins to find you. People perceive your change. Blessings naturally move toward you. Opportunities harmonize with your frequency. Your actions are no longer driven by desperation. They are guided by compatibility, and the universe responds to harmony, not fear. 7. You experience a link to a greater consciousness. This connection is not tied to religious doctrine. It signifies perfect alignment. You feel intimately integrated with the cosmos in a manner that is innate, potent, and certain. You receive spiritual promptings. You interpret signs swiftly. Your intuitive voice speaks clearly. You start feeling deliberately directed, not hopeful, not guessing, but definitively guided. This is the bond your soul has yearned for. 8. Fear loses its controlling influence. This does not mean fear vanishes, but rather that it ceases to lead. Fear quietens. Your inherent bravery amplifies. The emerging version of yourself does not wait for fear to subside. You proceed despite its presence. Your efforts are rooted in inner resolve, determination, and confidence, rather than doubt or anxiety. You stop shrinking. You stop holding back. You stop muting your brilliance to conform to past settings. This is soul-level empowerment. The authentic transformation begins the moment you prioritize your fate over your comfort. This is the systemic change initiated by Mercury, an identity reconfiguration that directs you toward the existence your spirit was always intended for, bypassing the compromises made by your pain. You are entering an iteration of yourself that is more intelligent, resilient, compassionate, courageous, and perfectly attuned to your inherent mission. Your regenerated self is present. Your emerging course is revealing itself. Your next era is commencing. The universe now prepares you for the concluding phase of this profound shift. The metamorphosis, commencing on December 11th, is not a passive event. It is a stirring within your being. The cosmos has presented an opening, but your growth necessitates your involvement. You must deliberately, mindfully, and enthusiastically embrace this elevated vibration. To achieve complete resonance with this new self, the universe prompts 4 powerful spiritual engagements today. Though these steps appear basic, their energetic impact is vast. Each one modifies your frequency, secures your new trajectory, and reinforces the identity emerging from the Mercury shift. Let us proceed. 1. Detach from a single limiting identity. Every spiritual awakening begins with an act of release, not a violent expulsion, but a conscious uncoupling from the self. You are no longer. Your past identity was constructed from anxieties, survival instincts, external conditioning, familial patterns, societal pressure, and unhealed traumas. However, your emerging self is built on truth, heightened insight, and celestial alignment. Therefore, one component of your past must be relinquished today. Choose only one defining characteristic to shed. It could be an internalized limitation regarding your abilities, a deep-seated fear that secretly governs your choices, a description others assign to you that never fit, a role you fulfill out of duty rather than genuine desire, a restriction that felt solid but now feels suffocating. Release it, not with force, not with guilt, but with clarity. Say silently or aloud, "I am no longer this." When you consciously let go of even one identity, your entire energetic composition begins to reorganize. The walls around you loosen. The old programming dissolves. You create space, and space is where transformation enters. You cannot ascend while clinging to parts of yourself that were never meant to rise alongside you. Letting go is the foundational step toward becoming. 2. Act upon one specific intuitive prompt. Today, your inner guidance serves as the voice of your highest self. It communicates subtly before external proof materializes. It gently steers you toward the destiny your soul is already navigating. The universe will transmit at least one intuitive urge to you today. This might manifest as a sudden thought of a name, an impulse to connect with someone, a new endeavor you feel driven to start, a habit you feel called to terminate, or a decision that feels inherently right even without rationale. Resist the urge to analyze it. Do not intellectualize it excessively. Do not dismiss it as mere chance. Your intuition is your future self, providing instruction. Taking even a single step, guided by intuition, solidifies the new timeline Mercury has activated. It signals to the universe, "I am ready. I am harmonious. I am attentive." This solitary action, however minor, possesses sufficient power to alter the momentum of your entire journey. The new you does not wait for certainty. 3. Dedicate 5 minutes to complete silence. Stillness is not an absence of activity. It is a form of communication. It is where your spirit unveils insights that your mind cannot detect. Today, grant yourself a minimum of 5 minutes of unadulterated silent contemplation. Close your eyes. Place your hand on your heart. Breathe slowly and deliberately. Feel your energy settling down. Sense the new timeline integrating into your being. Feel the old identity gently receding without resistance. In this quiet state, your clarity sharpens. Your subsequent steps become evident. Your energy achieves balance. Your spirit readjusts. Your emerging identity anchors within your physical form. Silence completes the transformation. Silence provides the soul the necessary room to ascend. Silence is the birthing chamber of the new you. Treat this as a sacred interval. Make it a rite of awakening. 4. Articulate your new identity into reality. Language functions as powerful magic. Words activate potential timelines. Words signal to the universe the person you are choosing to become. Asterisk. I am rising. I am transforming. I embrace my new path. I welcome my higher self. I prioritize alignment over fear. I am ready for my new life. Asterisk. Speak these affirmations, not as hopeful wishes, but as settled truths. Your voice carries a distinct frequency. When you vocalize these intentions from your core, you vibrationally draw your future closer to your present moment. This simple, declarative action is among the most potent spiritual instruments at your disposal. By affirming your new identity, you initiate your new destiny. The final message from the universe. December 11th is more than just a date. It is a cosmic point of evaluation. It is the moment the universe intervenes and declares, "You are undergoing reconstruction, not disintegration. You are being polished, not penalized. You are being lifted up, not drowned." Every sensation you've experienced, every doubt you've processed, everything you've released has served as preparation for this precise metamorphosis. And the path ahead, it demands your clearest, most powerful, most awakened self. Your past self was vital for endurance. Your new self is essential for fulfilling your fate. And that fate is beckoning you onward. Chosen one, pause and inhale. For whether you perceive it or not, the change has already taken root within you. December 11th is not simply a calendar entry, it is a portal, a monumental, spiritual pivot point established in your destiny long before your arrival in this life. The universe is methodically repositioning the elements of your life. It is extracting anything incapable of supporting your next phase and reinforcing the qualities within you that will propel you into the future. The former self, the identity, molded by old anxieties, traumas, and obsolete stories, is silently receding. Not because it was flawed, but because its mission is complete. You have exceeded its constraints. You have surpassed the hesitation. You have transcended the habits that once minimized your potential. And now, an evolved iteration of you is advancing a version characterized by faith, reception, and certainty. This upcoming segment of your journey will be driven by instinct, not apprehension. It will be characterized by insight, not perplexity. It will be motivated by intention, not merely survival. You are entering a period where your spirit's counsel will overshadow your history, where your internal mandate becomes absolute, and where the road ahead illuminates progressively. Yes, this transition may feel demanding. Yes, it might feel alienating. But profound sacred transformations seldom offer immediate ease. The universe is not removing things from your possession. It is creating capacity for the abundance, matching your new frequency, capacity for partnerships that honor your soul, capacity for ventures aligned with your purpose, capacity for the life that has awaited your ascent. Therefore, as you move ahead, hold this truth firmly. You are not disintegrating. You are not abandoning yourself. You are not wandering aimlessly into the unknown. You are evolving into the individual you were always destined to be. Transforming into the self your eternal soul recognizes. Growing into the person necessitated by your future. A fresh segment of reality is crystallizing around you. The appropriate individuals are being led to your vicinity. The correct opportunities are materializing. The intended course is manifesting, and the future version of you is already rejoicing at the moment you finally stepped into full alignment. Chosen one. If these words struck a chord, if they ignited a spark within, proclaim it intentionally in the comments. Asterisk, I am ready for my rebirth. Asterisk, because following today, your story does not simply proceed, it fundamentally changes. Your new life commences immediately.